I'm Jeanette Paradiso. I'm here at the Addison Historical Museum, and we're continuing with our A Bit of Addison History segment that is the fond recollections of Addison's days gone by. And that is a document that was given to us by a former resident of Addison. His name was Clarence Feeney. He was a lifelong resident. His father was a barber in town. He was a World War veteran, and he gave our museum a number of donations or items that are in our collection, one of which are these memoirs. One of our major streets in Addison is Mill Road, and it was named after the Addison Windmill, which stood very close to Mill Road. It was north of Lake Street and south of the bridge that crosses I-290, and then east of Mill Road. So this is what Mr. Feeney will be talking about. During World War I, wheat flour was very scarce. It no longer could be purchased in stores. My father bought wheat from farmers, then hauled it to the old windmill on Mr. Heideman's farm to have the grain ground into flour. It was a great privilege to come to the windmill with my father to watch its operation. At a distance, the huge wings of the windmill looked as though they were barely turning. However, standing on the balcony of the windmill, the wings would whoosh, 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 whoosh on by at an alarming rate of speed. And inside of the mill, the various sieves were shaking, making a loud noise like rump, 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 rump. There was a loud creaking and groaning from the drive shafts, which transmitted power to the various operations. The shaking sieves would produce a haze in the mill from minute particles of ground grain, which would remain in suspension for long periods of time. A generous layer of the substance would settle on the eyebrows and mustache of Mr. Heideman, giving him the appearance of an old white-haired man. To see the old windmill in operation was an adventure I shall never forget. After a few frigid days and nights, Salt Creek would quickly freeze over. When ice reached a thickness of 8 or 10 inches, farmers would no longer remain in the kitchen to be in the way of the ladies. They would assemble on Salt Creek and saw ice into 200-pound slabs, which then were loaded on sleds and hauled to 2 ice houses, which were located in the back of 2 saloons. The ice houses were structures with hollow walls filled with sawdust from the ground up to the roof. After the ice was in place in the structures, the ice then was covered with a heavy layer of sawdust to slow the melting of the ice. The ice was used to cover copper coils through which beer flowed, quickly cooling the beer. Of the notables who came to Addison was one Jack Johnson, the world's heavyweight boxing champion. He paid a visit to Schneider's Saloon to slake his thirst on a very hot summer's day. One time, a super con man appeared in Addison. He was singing the praises of a brush factory he was about to build. He would employ most of the Addison people at high-paying jobs. He was soliciting investments as well as donated labor for the project. A few workers were digging the basement and pouring cement for the foundation. The slicker also approached my father and asked him if he would donate labor for the project. My father was quite outspoken in this instance and bluntly asked the slicker why he wasn't out there wielding a shovel. "Oh no, that is not my line of work. I was commissioned to supervise the construction of the factory and to petition for investments," was his reply. Okay, we're going to end that up right there, and you'll have to watch our next segment to find out exactly what happened with the con man who visited Addison. Wanted to mention that our winter schedule is over now, that it is March, and we have begun to be open again on Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.